All right, let's get right into it. You've heard the hype. AI is changing everything. But how? What are the actual tools developers are using to build this future? Today we're talking about Agent Development Kits, or ADKs. And believe me, they are a huge piece of the puzzle. I want you to picture a future that's more than just chatbots. Think about AI agents as actual digital workers, automating complex research, helping to run our cities, or acting as your own personal assistant, one that not only manages your schedule, but plans your entire vacation for you. That's the vision, right? A totally seamless world, all powered by intelligent systems. Okay, so that's the dream. But the reality for the people actually building this stuff, it's a mess. It's incredibly complicated. Trying to create an AI that can think, plan, and actually do things in the real world means dealing with this tangled web of code and systems that don't want to talk to each other. It's chaos. So that's the big question, isn't it? How do we get from that tangled chaos to the slick, seamless future we just talked about? Well, to understand the solution, we've got to start with the core idea behind it all. So what even is an AI agent? It's not just something that gives you an answer. No, an agent has a goal. It uses one of those big, brainy, large language models to think and to plan, and then this is the key part, it uses a set of tools to actually get things done. And I love this way of thinking about it. The large language model, that's the brain. It's doing all the heavy lifting, all the reasoning. But a brain can't do much without hands, right? So the tools, those are the hands. They're what lets the agent actually interact with the world. Search the web, write some code, pull from a database, you name it.
And this is where our hero enters the scene. Because with all this complexity, you can't just build these things from scratch every single time. It's just too hard. Developers needed a better way. They needed a toolkit.
And that's exactly what an Agent Development Kit, or ADK, is. It takes that tangled mess we saw earlier and brings order to the chaos. It's the framework, the software that gives developers all the essential pieces they need to build, test, and roll out these agents way faster. Honestly, if you remember just one thing from all this, make it this. An ADK is like a Lego set for building AI brains. It's that simple. You get all the different bricks, the instructions, the connectors, everything you need to build something amazing without having to invent the bricks yourself. Okay, so we've got our Lego set. Now let's pop open the box and see what's actually inside. How do all these pieces fit together to make an agent that can think for itself? All right, so inside that Lego box, you've got a few key pieces. First, there's memory, right? So the agent doesn't have amnesia and can remember what you've talked about. Then you've got planning and reasoning. That's the LLM brain doing its thing. And then, super important, you have the tools and workflows. Those are the hands and the instructions for how to use them together. And all these parts work together in this cycle called the agent loop. It's pretty straightforward, really. Step 1, the brain thinks and plans. Step 2, it picks a tool, say a web search, and uses it. Step 3, it looks at what it found and stores that in its memory. And step 4, it either gives you an answer or, if it's not done, it just goes back to step 1 and starts the loop all over again. The ADK is what manages that whole dance.
Now, when you have a technology this fundamental, you just know the big players are going to get involved. And that's exactly what's happening. This isn't some niche corner of the tech world. This is the next major battleground for AI.
I mean, just look at this list. It's a who's who of tech. Google's got its ADK. OpenAI has their SDK. Amazon, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Anthropic. Everybody is building their own version of this toolkit. And when you see a lineup like that, you know we're talking about a massive shift in the industry.
But here's the interesting part. They're not all the same. Each company is taking a slightly different approach. So you've got Google, and they're really focused on big, complex systems with lots of agents working together. Then there's OpenAI, which is kind of the opposite. Their kit is super lightweight, really easy to just pick up and start building. And AWS, they're trying this model-driven approach, where the LLM itself is kind of the boss, directing the whole operation.
So, these incredibly powerful toolkits are out there, and developers everywhere are starting to use them. What does that actually mean for us, for the future? Let's zoom out now and look at the big picture, because there's a huge upside, but also a pretty serious downside. On the one hand, the potential is just mind-blowing. Automated digital workers, supercharging scientific discovery, assistants that know you better than you know yourself. But, and this is a big but, the risks are just as real. These agents are built on LLMs that can still just make stuff up. They hallucinate. There are huge security and data privacy questions. And what happens when you have a whole team of agents and one of them messes up? It could cause a domino effect, a total system failure. That's a scary thought.
So here's the bottom line, the most important thing to understand. These ADKs are a huge deal. They're a massive accelerator, making it possible for way more people to build these incredibly complex AI agents. But, and this is so important, they are just a toolkit. They don't magically fix the underlying problems with the AI brain itself. They're not a silver bullet.
And that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? As these toolkits spread, we're basically handing out the power to create autonomous systems to, well, everyone. So are we about to create the ultimate collaborators? Tools that will unlock a whole new level of human achievement? Or are we opening Pandora's box, creating risks we can't even predict, let alone control? The answer, I think, will come down to how responsibly we decide to use these new tools.